What is good, everybody? My name is the Generation 71. Thank you for tuning back into this brand new video. Now, obviously, even though the title may say one thing, obviously I'm still here. My computer still works magically. I'm not sure how that happened. But it's actually a little story I just want to talk about. So, long story short, as to kind of speed up the beginning part of the story, is I got this computer from a guy who works for like a major YouTube channel. So this computer's up to specs. And I've had it sitting around for a while, and the other night I just, out of the blue, was like, you know what, I'm bored, I'm going to go ahead and just finally figure this out. So I plugged it in and turned off for like 5 seconds and then turned back off. And so after doing some research, figured out that it was just a power supply problem. So I was like, okay, well, I should be able to excuse me, I should be able to actually just replace it with my current power supply, and bam, I have an amazing computer virtually for free. So I went ahead and started like tinkering, and to kind of put it in perspective, I have never ever done anything with computers before. I mean, yeah, sure, back in junior high and high school I've done some stuff with like circuit boards, but this is on a whole other level, man. It's like freaking ridiculous. so I decided to be like, hey, let me go ahead and just switch this out. And man, it was a trial. There was blood, there was sweat, there were tears, there were little babies crying, there was everything. It was ridiculous. So after everything, once I finally got the stupid power supply out and switched in with the different computer, turns out that this power supply didn't have the right cables. It was so stupid. It wasn't one of those things that it had all the correct cables. I guess it didn't have enough cables, because with this computer actually being better graphically, it actually needed an extra power cord for the graphics card, and unfortunately the power supply that I had just did not have that. So I was like, oh well, that's a shame, but just go ahead and put the power supply back in my own computer and we're good. And that's where the real fun started. So essentially, because of me not knowing what I was doing when I was actually disconnecting everything, turns out I had not only disconnected a couple of things from the motherboard as far as like turning on, turning off and all that, but I also actually replaced the RAM. So the RAM from the old computer actually transplanted it into, or from the new computer to my current computer. I ended up transplanting that RAM just because it would look nicer. But I actually didn't realize that you actually had to really push it in, and which is funny too, because I've seen actually computer tutorials in the past say that, yeah, don't be afraid to push it, you gotta feel that click or whatever. So I just put it in there, it was fine, no big deal, and then I turn on the computer and it just gives me the beep beep beep, and I was like, what the hell did I do? So I honestly, at that point, I was just devastated. I thought, like, the world's over, this computer's gonna blow up, it's over. So, but after researching, apparently what those 3 beeps meant, said that there was a problem with the RAM, that it wasn't actually, like, inserted correctly. So after doing a couple of minor adjustments, and actually fully pushing the RAM in, it turned on, and I was like, oh, thank God. So then, obviously, not leaving well enough alone, I started, doing these little experiments, like taking the hard drive from the new computer, putting it into my current computer, and it turns out that my USBs up top don't work. I was like, what did I do now? So, again, not leaving well enough alone, had to go ahead and go back into the computer, start checking everything out, to the point that I disconnected everything from the motherboard as far as the front portion of my computer is concerned. And at this point, I'm like, this is over. It's over. It's done with. There's no way I'm going to be able to go into like putting this back together. I have no idea what I'm doing. So started doing just a little bit more research. I actually managed to find the box of because when I bought the computer, they actually sent me the box with the motherboard in it, and actually, so I looked up the motherboard for the schematics of it, and actually spent some time reading it and kind of understanding how everything worked. And so slowly but surely, go ahead and start inserting everything in, pin by pin, point by point, making sure positive, negative, and negative. And at this point, I'm like, it's over. Like, realistically, even if this does work, something's going to go wrong. And so I go ahead and turn on the computer, and sure enough, it says that it couldn't boot up from the there was an error with the PC. Do you want to do a quick fix? That didn't work. But what I hadn't realized is apparently for some reason the computer actually, because I stuck the other hard drive in with that, I was trying to actually boot up from that hard drive, which I was a little confused about. So at this point, again, devastated, is like, you know what, I'm just going to try this. This is my last ditch effort. So go ahead and turn it on, boot it up from the standard menu, set it up to this specific hard drive, and boot it up just fine. I'm like, thank God. And then, of course, I had to check, make sure the USBs were fine. So realistically, inside my computer now looks so much uglier than it did because they had it zip tied, which I kind of understand why they had it zip tied now. But man, it was a trial. It was a trial. I believe I've become stronger. And the reason why I'm talking about this, and the reason, excuse me, I'm actually putting it out, is don't be afraid to do something. Like, legitimately, I was afraid to do something, and I took that first step. And yeah, it was a shit show. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like, oh yeah, sunshine and rainbows and ponies and all that. It was a complete shit show. But what I came off of it was I literally spent 12, 13, 14 hours working on this. You know, dedicated, this is what I'm doing, and I'm sore as hell. My fingers hurt from all the plucking and prodding and all that. And I accomplished what I was doing. You know, something that I had no intention of actually, like, I had no idea that it was going to actually work. I thought this computer was dead, I'm over, you know, I can't do any YouTube videos anymore. But it was something that I learned that's like, hey, you put your mind to something, you can really accomplish something. And it kind of blew me away because at first glance I was like, you know, really depressed, like, oh man, this really sucked. But then afterwards, you know, you have to be positive and be like, wow, I did this. I did this. I didn't have to pay for a stupid technician at Best Buy or whatever to do this. I did this. It was me. So it was just something I wanted to pass along with you guys. It was a trying experience. Like, even like right now I'm talking about it really, really happy. Realistically, it was probably one of the most grueling experiences of my life, just feeling just completely demolished and actually coming out of it positively. It was amazing. So, but hey, I mean, I hope this gives you guys some ideas, some intentions to do stuff, you know, become everything you can be, I guess. So anyways, guys, I'm going to cut it there for now. If you like this video, if you want to see more inspirational videos like this, not inspirational at all, make sure to leave a like, I can't talk, see, I'm just so jubilant I can't talk. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you like this and you want to see more. And then if you don't like it, in the words of Nathan said, you can die. I'm glad he's back on YouTube. You know, I really enjoy his videos. But anyways, guys, this has been The Generation 71. We'll catch you guys later.